Is your garden looking tired and weak, even with regular watering and feeding? Are your plants stunted despite your best efforts? The culprit might not be pests or disease, but something much more fundamental that most gardeners overlook: compacted soil. You could be making it worse without even realizing it. Welcome to Don't Do This Guide, the channel dedicated to uncovering common gardening mistakes to help you cultivate a truly thriving garden. If you're ready to learn the secrets to healthier soil and happier plants, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Compacted soil is your garden's worst enemy because it fundamentally suffocates plant roots. Think of healthy soil as a sponge, full of tiny pores and channels. These spaces are filled with air and water, both essential for roots to breathe, grow, and absorb nutrients. When soil becomes compacted, these pores are crushed and eliminated. The soil becomes a dense, solid mass. Plant roots struggle to push through this barrier, leading to stunted and shallow root systems. Without a deep and expansive network of roots, a plant cannot anchor itself properly or access the water and nutrients it needs. The lack of oxygen is particularly devastating. Roots, just like leaves, need to respire. In compacted, waterlogged soil, there is no air available for this vital process. So how can you tell if your soil is compacted? Take a sturdy metal rod or screwdriver and try to push it into the soil after a good rain. One of the most obvious signs is water pooling on the surface after rain or watering. If the soil comes up in large, hard clumps and you see very few earthworms or root channels, it's a clear indicator your soil lacks the airy structure needed for a thriving garden. Timing is everything in the garden, and this is especially true when it comes to loosening soil. Working the soil at the wrong time can do far more harm than good, destroying its structure for the entire season. The absolute worst time to attempt any form of loosening is when the soil is wet. Wet soil, particularly soil with a high clay content, is incredibly vulnerable. The best time to loosen compacted soil is when it is moderately moist, not soaking wet, and not bone dry. Think of the consistency of a wrung-out sponge. For most climates, the ideal windows for this task are in the autumn or early spring. Autumn work is often preferable, as it gives the soil the entire winter to settle. If you loosen soil in the spring, do it just before planting. This creates a soft, aerated zone for new seeds and transplants to establish their roots quickly. The king of manual aeration tools is the broadfork. This simple yet brilliant tool consists of several long, strong tines attached to two long handles. You use your body weight to press the tines deep into the soil, then gently rock the handles back to lift and fracture the compacted layers below. The beauty of the broadfork is that it aerates deeply without inverting the soil horizons, preserving the precious topsoil layer and the homes of beneficial organisms. Another essential tool is the digging fork, or garden fork. To use it correctly, push the tines into the soil and give it a gentle wiggle and a slight lift. The goal is not to turn the soil over, but simply to create cracks and fissures for air and water to penetrate. For surface-level compaction, a simple hoe can be very effective. Gently scuffling the surface breaks up the crust that prevents seedlings from emerging. A common mistake is to use the fork like a lever to pry up huge clods of earth. This can be just as damaging as improper tilling. The most common mistake is overworking the soil. Your goal is to alleviate compaction while leaving as much natural soil structure intact as possible. Think of it as performing careful surgery on your soil, not demolition. This mindful approach ensures you're helping your soil, not hurting it. There is an alternative to the endless cycle of digging and soil compaction, a method that works with nature to build incredible fertility over time. This is the no-dig method. The core principle is simple: do not disturb the soil. This process mimics the way soil is built in a forest, where leaves and organic debris fall and decompose. Instead of digging, we add layers of organic matter, compost, leaf mold, or well-rotted manure, directly on top of the soil surface. The benefits are immense. It protects and nurtures the soil food web. The soil is teeming with life, from microscopic bacteria and fungi to earthworms and beneficial insects. These organisms are the true gardeners, breaking down organic matter, creating air channels, and making nutrients available to plants. When we dig or till, we destroy their habitat, shatter fungal networks, and kill countless earthworms. Applying the no-dig method is straightforward. To start a new bed, lay down cardboard to suppress existing vegetation. On top of this, you add a thick layer of compost, typically 4 to 6 inches deep. You can plant directly into this compost layer immediately. Plant roots will grow down through the compost into the soil below as the cardboard breaks down. Earthworms will naturally aerate the soil for you. Each year, the only maintenance required is to add another 1 to 2 inch layer of compost to the surface. There's no digging, no tilling, and far fewer weeds. This method saves your back, saves time, and builds superior soil structure. The result is soil rich in organic matter that holds moisture beautifully and is naturally resistant to compaction. It is truly a partnership with nature. The mechanical tiller can seem like a gardener's best friend, promising to turn hard ground into a fluffy, plantable bed in a fraction of the time. In certain, very specific situations, a tiller can be useful when breaking new ground for the first time on a large plot that is heavily compacted. However, the convenience comes at a significant cost. The aggressive churning action completely pulverizes the soil's natural structure. It decimates the soil ecosystem, shredding the delicate fungal networks that plants depend on for nutrient uptake and killing beneficial soil dwellers. One of the most insidious problems is hardpan formation. The tiller blades work only to a certain depth, creating a highly compacted, impenetrable layer below. This hardpan acts like a concrete floor, preventing deep root growth and causing waterlogging. While the surface looks cultivated, you've created severe compaction just out of sight. If you must use a tiller, do so with extreme caution. Never till wet soil, avoid over-tilling, and remember that 1 or 2 passes is usually enough. Ideally, a tiller should be a one-time tool for initial ground preparation, not an annual ritual. After that first use, switch to gentler methods, like adding compost, and using a broadfork to build and maintain healthy soil structure for years to come. Beyond tool misuse, there are critical mistakes that contribute to poor soil health. The first and most frequent error is tilling or digging when soil is too wet. Squeezing a handful of soil is a simple test. If water drips out or it forms a slick, muddy ball, put the tools away and wait. Working wet soil destroys its structure, creating dense, brick-like clods when it dries. Patience is a gardener's greatest virtue here. Another common mistake is overworking the soil. Many believe that finer and fluffier soil is better for planting. This is a myth. Soil pulverized into fine powder has no structure. The first heavy rain will turn it into slurry, and as it dries, it forms a hard, impenetrable crust. Healthy soil has a crumbly texture with aggregates of various sizes. This structure allows free movement of air, water, and roots. A third critical error is leaving soil bare and exposed. The impact of raindrops can be surprisingly forceful, leading to crusting and erosion. The solution is simple. Always keep your soil covered. Use organic mulch like compost, shredded leaves, straw, or wood chips. Finally, avoid walking on growing beds. Every footstep compresses soil, squeezing out air. Design your garden with dedicated paths and beds narrow enough to reach without stepping in them. There you have it, a complete guide to properly loosening your garden soil for healthier plants and a more abundant harvest. It's not just about digging, it's about understanding and working with your soil to create the perfect foundation for growth. If you found this guide valuable, please give this video a thumbs up and share your favorite soil care tips in the comments below. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Don't Do This Guide for more essential gardening advice. Happy gardening!